For this tutorial, I'm going to be demonstrating these mural painting techniques on a white canvas. Begin by covering your surface with the background color, the sky color, or what I'm going to call the atmosphere color. Basically, you're just looking for a nice even coat on which to paint your masterpiece. Paint roller works well for this. Next, we're going to lay out the basic structure of the painting. I use a pencil, and these light lines will be covered by paint, but they're just a guide where I'm going to be painting my ridges. This is basically a two-color painting. The atmosphere color in this case is some house paint, aptly named ghost pines, and the mountain color is some cheap acrylic, dark granite. Begin by pouring some of the atmosphere color into a container. Make sure you have enough to complete the entire painting. Next, we're going to darken it just a smidge with some of the mountain color and stir it up. You don't want to go too dark for the first layer, just barely darker than the atmosphere base color. Make sure you have a variety of different sized brushes for this painting, and I'm going to start with the smallest brush, in this case a fan brush. Making vertical tapping strokes along that first ridge line that I marked out with my pencil. Don't be concerned if you can't see the ridge show up against the background. That means you're doing it right. This first ridge is the most distant, so it should be the lightest in value. When the paint dries, you'll see it pop out more, but when it's wet, you might not be able to see it as well as you think you should. Just trust me. Keep going. The values will get darker as our perspective comes closer. Once you're satisfied with your first ridge, we're going to take our blending brush and put a little of the unadulterated atmosphere color on the bristles and make small circular strokes at the base of the ridge in order to blend it away. Make the transition as soft as possible. Then we'll go back to our mountain color and darken it a little bit more because we're coming closer. The closer the ridges get to us, the darker the value. For the next ridge, we're going to use a larger brush, in this case a 1-inch brush, and continue with vertical tapping strokes along our next guideline, going right over top of our other ridges in order to push them back. Keep tapping, creating these little shapes, and again, you're only worried about the top edge here. Work those trees up into the distant mist as you pass beneath it along your pencil guideline. Pay special attention to the juxtaposition and layering of lights and darks, because that's what gives this painting depth. When you're satisfied with the top edge of your second ridge, you can begin blocking in color beneath it with whatever strokes work best for you. I use horizontal strokes. Now again, same as before, we're going to take our large blending brush and put a little bit of the atmosphere color on the corner bristles. And we're going to start at the bottom of the ridge and work our way up with small circular motions, blending that mist into the still wet paint of the ridge above it, trying to soften that edge between the dark and the light. Very light pressure here, allowing the colors to blend on the canvas or the wall, if that's what you're painting. You can soften it as much or as little as you would like. And as a finishing touch, I like to lift the mist up onto the ridge there as very lightly, as Bob would say, 3 hairs and some air. And it's back into our mountain color again, and we're going to continue to darken it because as the ridges get closer, the values get darker. Now, using our next largest brush, the 2-inch brush, we're going to begin making our vertical tapping strokes again along our third guideline. And here, since the ridge is closer, we can get a little more definition on our top edge there. We can have individual pine trees stand out against the background fog there. So as the ridges come forward, you add more and more detail, and they also get darker and darker. Just continue with your vertical tapping strokes, allowing the happy little trees to appear in the distance, just wherever. Again, you're just worried about the top edge here, what shows up against the layer behind it. Whenever you're satisfied with the way this layer looks, you can again just start blocking in color beneath it with whichever strokes work best for you. You can begin to see the techniques really take shape here as you layer darks and lights together. And it might be a good idea to practice these on a canvas before tackling a larger project like a wall. But I'm going to show you again the wall that I painted, and pay attention to the way I create depth and layering by alternating the atmosphere color and the mountain color as I come forward. You can see the finished product really adds a quality of depth and ties the room together. Remember, you can do this project with any two colors of your choosing. So I hope this video gives you the inspiration to try this yourself. And if you found this helpful, click that like button, leave a comment, share this with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to see more great DIY content. Thanks for watching.